In this video, we're going to take a quick look at our new GC plugin for Planswift. This is the most comprehensive plugin that we've developed for Planswift. If you look to the column to the right here, this is our GC plugin assemblies, and you can see that we've got 9 different trade groups of assemblies that go along with this plugin. So it includes all of the assembly groups and all of the individual trade plugins that we've developed, which are concrete, masonry, framing, siding, and drywall. And we also have added a few trade groups to the lumberyard and GC plugin. The foundation, which is just some miscellaneous foundation materials, the roofing, and the insulation, and the millworks are additional trade groups that we've added for this GC plugin as well as our lumberyard plugin. So what I want to show in the video is the way that the report grouping works with the GC plugin as opposed to our individual trade plugins is a little bit different. You actually have a little bit more flexibility with the GC plugin as far as being able to select your main phase or your main group in the report as well as the subgroup. With the individual trade plugins, you're only able to select the subgroup, and the way that you do that is by using location folders that the takeoff items are placed in. So let's do a little bit of takeoff, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So let's say we want to do some wood wall takeoff. I'm going to launch our wood wall framing assembly. And when the form populates here, we're in the wall assembly info tab. And you'll notice in this tab that we have a report phase drop down selection as well as a subphase. So the report phase is going to be the main group that you want the material items for this assembly placed in the report. The subphase is an optional subgroup that you can break the material down, one more level into a subgroup below the main group. If you don't want a subgroup, you just select an empty cell, and it's just going to then create the main group to place the material items under. I'm not going to go through and change the default selections here. For more information on how these assemblies work and more detail on the overall plugin systems themselves and how they work, check out our individual trade plugin pages and videos on our website. So again, we've selected the phase, main level outside wall, sub-phase of plates and studs. So we'll click OK, do a little bit of wall takeoff. So when we click over to our reports tab, we're in our GC reports folder, and this is our materials by location report. You can see where the wall takeoff we just did, it calculated the material quantities from the selections, and it grouped it under the phase and subphase that we selected. So we have the main group of main level outside wall and the subgroup or subphase of plates and studs. So let's say we want to add some insulation to the wall. So we go in our insulation folder under our drag and drop linear insulation assemblies, and let's add some R11 to it. So when the form pops up, again, you're going to see that you have the phase and subphase selection here to make to determine how those items are placed in the report. So the way the drag and drop assembly works, we drag it, drop it onto our wood wall framing. It inherits the linear footage from that wall, and then we can select a wall height here, and it's just going to multiply the wall height times the linear total to give us the square footage of insulation. So we've got a phase of insulation load selected. Let's select a subphase of main level. Click OK. So when we go look at our report, you can see how, as we do our takeoff, it's basically building our report for us. So it's taken the R11 that we dropped onto the wood wall framing, and it's placed it under the phase or report, the main subgroup of insulation load, and again, subphase of main level. So that's the material by location. It breaks it down by phase and subphase. This plugin also comes with the consolidated report, and what that does is basically removes the subgroup or subphase breakdown from the report, and it groups it by phase only. So it gives you a more consolidated report of your material, your overall material quantities for the whole project.